up, Internet? Welcome once again to the Free-to-Play Cast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, and this is episode 360, even though I didn't rename the show notes themselves, but I did put it in the show notes. And we're doing it live, of course, on twitch.tv/MMOBomb. We do the show live Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we follow the show with a free-to-play gaming stream, because we're always doing that Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So we've got a lot to go over today. Some of it maybe not really, super good news. I don't know. Some of this is going to be bad news for those that maybe don't like certain companies, and then some of it will be bad news for people that maybe like certain games, and I don't know. We'll go through it all. Joining me to do it, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. I unlocked an achievement last weekend.
What was that?
Unlocked a life achievement. First time I cut my own hair.
You did that yourself?
Yeah.
That's ballsy. Yeah. I would never try that.
I just figured, whatever, if it goes bad, just buzz it all off, so we'll see how it goes.
I would never. The only time I ever did, I ended up shaving it bald. Because this was many years ago. I was like 22, 23, something like that. And I just wanted to, buzz the sides a little bit. Bzz, bzz, and I caught and tore into like 3 inches of hair. And I was like, okay, guess we're going to be bald for a little while. My wife was not home at the time. And when she came home, she was not happy. Not happy. I do not pull off bald very well. I have a lumpy head. Also on the line, Mr. Wilfredo Rivera. How are you, sir?
I am a whole mood.
Yeah, so chat already knows why, but for the sake of those watching via YouTube or the site, why are you in a mood today?
I have a cricket in my room, and he won't shut up. It's quiet now.
For the posterity's sake, how long has said cricket been in your room?
2 weeks.
2 hours. Oh, 2 weeks.
Shut up.
Do you like?
I heard that. I heard
it too. Do you have like something crickets can eat in your house somewhere? Like, how is it surviving?
Hopes, dreams, rage, and fury. I don't know. It's just built to torment me. Shut up! One of these games is going to get railed today because of this.
He's just going to pick one. It's going to be like a Troy Blackbird special where we get to a topic and that's just the kettle boils over. Oh, my God. Sleep in a different room.
Outside is quieter than this.
Burn down your house.
Good idea.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, Wilfredo, Jason, the cricket, and we're going to slide over and get started with the news.
It's a quadcast today.
It is. It's 4 hosts. It's 4 hosts.
Get a box for the cricket.
There's a cricket. All right, so I think we can just kind of start with the bad news stuff or the maybe bad news stuff. Then we'll go to some things that people are watching or playing right now and anticipating in the future. And I thought we'd kind of ended the news segment today with a little bit of, well, here's some news I really didn't see coming and don't know how to feel about maybe. So let's start with number 1, which is TERA. So we've talked about TERA in the past, NMOS Entertainment going away, Krafton/Bluehole, deciding what they were going to do with it. The Krafton absorbed the console version of TERA. They'll be self-publishing that. We speculated that TERA on the PC would be fine when NMOS announced this, that we felt Bluehole Krafton would just absorb its publishing duties, or they would find another publisher for the Western versions of TERA. We didn't have to worry about Europe. They were published by Gameforge, not NMOS Entertainment, so that was fine. But in the West here, we did have to kind of speculate on who the publisher would be. And Jason, we now have an answer to that. And while I think most of us would have been okay with it going to Krafton, just like the console version, that's not the case for PC players in the United States or in the West as a whole.
Yep. If you're European and you hate Gameforge, well, congratulations. Now it's going to be Gameforge in the U.S. as well, North and South America, that is.
Oof.
And people really love Gameforge, from what I hear.
Yeah, this. Oof.
Mhm.
Oof. I'm not a huge fan of Gameforge. Luckily, being in the United States, Wilfredo, I don't have a whole lot of personal experience with them. I have a ton of professional experience with them on the MMO bomb side of things. But as far as being a player of games that they publish, I've never really had to worry about it. I'm certainly aware that they don't have the best track record sometimes as far as monetization goes and things like that. So I can't say I'm actually very happy with the news. Now, that's coming from somebody that at best dabbles in TERA. What do you think the feeling is on this one, though, for people that actually, like, that is their main MMO? Are they happy about this? I can't imagine that they are.
Yeah, I would say Gameforge is like that uncle at the family reunion that everybody thinks is cool, but it's actually very creepy and shady and dangerous.
So me.
No, you're just grumpy. You're grandpa.
No, I'm definitely the weird. I'm definitely the weird uncle when I go to stuff. Yeah, my
But
nephews.
I honestly, it's probably up in the air for most people. They're not going to know how to really feel about it. Me personally, I'm not a real big fan of the idea that they've done questionable, and that's being polite, questionable things in the past. Just have to wait to see if these hardcore Terra players are going to accept this, or if they're just going to say, you know what, it's time for something new anyway. I haven't tried Black Desert Online yet.
Fair. Now, Jason, I feel like, though, we're heavily ingrained in this stuff. Like, if you name a company, whether it's a publisher, a developer, a title, even if it's a little more obscure, we know about it because of the realm of the work we do for MMO Bomb. Do you think somebody that's, a more casual about this, like they found TERA, they enjoy TERA, maybe they aren't out exploring all other free-to-play games, all other MMOs, or know much about this company, do you think that audience really cares who the publisher is at this point? Or is it going to be more like they might figure out down the road that some things are working a little bit differently now than they did with NMOS Entertainment?
See, I almost go the other direction with that, because it's like if you're still playing TERA now, you're kind of already a hardcore. Like I remember when it first started out, a lot of people were really happy with it, and it's been kind of
Remember the
downhill a little
hardcore
bit.
commercials? The MMO.
Oh yeah, MOFU, yeah, with Bosruten, yeah. But I mean, it's like if you're still playing now after 7-8 years, whatever it's been, you're kind of dedicated to it, and you're probably not going to leave just because Gameforge takes over. Now, yeah, no matter what, they're not going to do anything like probably super radical in the first month or so. But even a few months down the line, is it going to be that much different than what's been happening, with NMOS over the years, with all the different crap I've heard about them not being responsive, about not fixing bugs, not fixing exploits, whatever. Is that going to be that much different with Gameforge taking over? If you've been putting up with that stuff for several years, are you going to switch off now? So
Right.
in the long run, I don't know that's really going to have that big of an effect.
Yeah, and if you look at the flip side of this, Wilfredo, it kind of makes sense from a Crafton side of this, right? They have a publisher that already does TERA in populated regions. It's not some like one country spin-off publisher. It's, they run it in Europe. So they already have a company familiar with the product, marketing the product, doing their thing. They already have established cash shops and things like that. And there probably will be changes from what NMOS did cash shop-wise to what Gameforge does cash shop-wise. Honestly, I don't know. If there's anybody in chat that has played both on Gameforge's EU version and on North America's version, let us know. Like, is there a huge difference in as far as the monetization goes? Maybe communication, to Jason's point, is different. Maybe patch rollouts or fixes or things like that are different. That I can imagine being the case. But was there really a big monetization difference? But Wilfredo, from Crafton's side, this makes sense. I can't fault them for doing it. I can just say, I'm not exactly a fan of the company they picked.
Yeah, I agree. It goes back to that weird uncle, and I mean the weird uncle, to Q's point. It's one of those things where you're like, I don't want you to babysit my kids, but there's no one else that I can rely on right now because you actually have a pretty stellar track record, kind of.
At least
yeah,
you're going to
you
come
burn the
home
house
and the
down
kids are
once.
going to be safe.
They'll be alive.
You might overpay per hour for the babysitter, but they'll be safe.
they'll be okay. So from a business standpoint, I mean, that obviously makes sense. You want to go with somebody who actually has experience with this. I just think that from the consumer side, there are going to be a lot of people who are like, I'm a little weird about this. And maybe on the business side, they're like, it's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to get into a situation where they had to bring on a new publisher, like a brand new publisher, Jason. And I think that's kind of what led to this. They probably looked at this and said, well, hey, Gameforge has an interest. We can make some money off of that, or we can absorb this ourselves. I feel like that was their option. I don't think they were really shopping this around to just anybody who wants it. Let me hear your offer. I kind of feel like this was a one or the other, internal or Gameforge.
But then the question is, what if Gameforge said, "Now we can't really handle that. We were got our hands full dealing with Europe." So
well, then I think they just take it internal like they did with console.
Okay.
And maybe shop it over time, but in the interim, self-publish it. There's a whole FAQ on this topic for NA players. You can go ahead to mmobomb.com, check out the article. We link it to you there. We have some of the main ones there. But just so you can get ready for the whole change and Gameforge site. Old Glory plays on both. He says, yes, there is. It was a long time ago, but it felt like the NA version was more noob-friendly and did not stuff monetization in your face. You can play as a free-to-play player on NA without even thinking about paying. And I would guess by that description that you don't feel the same way on your EU account. So, TERA players, get ready for changes. I'm gonna hold on my end thoughts on this because it is related to my weekly bomb. But final word, what do you think, Jason?
Like I said, I think in the long run, it's not going to really matter that much. TERA's where it's at right now, and it's not going to suddenly cut the audience in half any more than it would have anyway.
Wilfredo?
Me and the cricket agree. It's questionable, but it'll pass.
The cricket. All right.
His name is Larry now.
On to maybe some more.
Name?
Oh, did you?
His name is Larry now.
Larry? Okay, Larry the cricket.
We've named the cricket. Now Terra Nova, I do know that one because I have messed around on Ion in EU, which is Gameforge versus NCSoft's Cash Shop in North America. So I do know personally that there are pretty stark differences between the two of those. So looks like you North American players are in for a change. We'll see how grievous the change becomes. On to other maybe not best of news here, or maybe, a mercy killing. I don't know what you want to call this. Amazon officially ends development on Crucible. And of course, in classic free-to-play cast fashion, this happened Friday evening, about 3 to 4 hours after we did the free-to-play cast. Maybe a little more than that. I think it was 6 in the evening, so 4 to 5 hours after the free-to-play cast. Amazon deciding, Jason, it's time to pull the plug on Crucible, but we'll take the staff and shift them to other projects.
Took Crucible up behind the woodshed and Old Yeller did. Yep. That's an old joke and nobody's laughing at it. Holy crap.
Oh,
have you guys seen Old Yeller? Come on, you know
I've seen Old Yeller. Right? Now you're going to make me cry.
Right. Sure,
you're going to make me cry, man.
It's only Crucible, though. Don't
That's
cry.
That's why no
Crucible.
one's laughing. Yeah. We're crying inside.
Right. I guess if you cared about Crucible, you might cry at that reference.
Yeah, but 20 people care about Crucible. There are more people. More people will watch the streams of somebody I watch who did the shoutcast of their tournaments on weekends than we're actually playing it. You look at Steam charts, they're 18 people in the game, but 31 people watching the stream. So that's whatever. But yeah, so they are going to end development on it. They're going to keep the servers up until November 9th. So you can still play until then, although at some point,
so you can,
next few weeks are going
to... They picked that because the Xbox Series X comes out the next day. They're like, you'll have something else to do. So
sure, exactly.
Take it to the night.
Well, the thing is, they're going to turn off matchmaking, though, so you'll only be able to do private lobbies. It's going to be the last thing they actually put in the game. So, yeah, it's I don't remember who it was I think in our live stream yesterday. It was like, I still have this installed on my computer. I don't know why. And I convinced him, yeah, just uninstall it, man. Just don't worry about it. You
Yeah,
don't need it
it's
anymore.
time. It's time. Just uninstall it.
It's time. Old Yeller it. That's a new word for uninstalling. It's old Yellering a game.
Yeller
Yeah.
it. Wilfredo, this makes Amazon games 2 for 2. Or 0 for 2, I'm sorry, on the development side of things, with Breakaway never having even made it to launch, then before it was canceled, then Crucible making it to launch, then being yanked out of launch, and now being, as Jason says, old Yellered behind the shed. This is not a good look for a company that, when I was actually excited when Amazon started, I thought, here's another big potential player. Money is not a problem, so they're not going to have to worry about that. They're just going to have to decide what they want to put the money into and how much in the buckets, not where are we going to get the money, which is a consideration for an awful lot of smaller publishers. This is somebody that could go up potentially against the Activision Blizzards, against the Epic Games, against the EAs, maybe not in sheer number of titles, but certainly in resources to get a title off the ground and be competitive in some of these spaces. That hasn't panned out. That hasn't panned out at all. In fact, it has failed in a spectacular fashion, too. These weren't just, we started something, didn't quite work, we're not going to release that, we're going to move in a different direction. I mean, these failed both in, particularly Crucible's case, in spectacular fashion. This leaves on the docket that we know about, by the way, this leaves whatever John Smedley is working on. That's been unannounced, former Daybreak CEO. Then that leaves the partnership with Athlon Games for the Lord of the Rings MMO, which pretty sure it's Athlon, not Athlong, right? Yeah.
Athlon, yeah, it was an N. Yeah.
Okay. I'll fix that later.
Did I do
It
that?
says Athlong, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Athlon, isn't it? So they're working on that.
Okay.
Of course, they still have New World, which does not have the best look right now. We're going to release, no, wait, we're going to wait 3 months. Oh, no, wait, we're going to wait a year. So hopefully that works out for them. By the way, that's buy to play, which we'll talk about in a second here. And well, they're going to be the publisher for what we believe is probably Lost Ark, but we can't really give them, credit in that category because they're a publisher, and it's not even official that it's going to be Lost Ark, but it's going to be Lost Ark. So, yeah, I think my faith is all but totally shattered in this company, Wilfredo.
Good. It should be. And I can tell you this from personal experience. So one of Amazon's biggest, I guess you could say, hitches is that they will take their money and throw it at anything and immediately expect it to be there. It's very much on their business model of how fast can we get this in someone's hands. Amazon does this in their warehouses as well. They'll come up with all these new technologies and all these new apps and all these new processes, and they're never completed upon release. They're doing it here. They just figured, we've got a bunch of money. All we got to do is throw money at the wall, and we can buy all the licenses that we need, and we can put it together in a game, and then we can put the game out there, and people are going to love it because we made it a game, and it's our name that's on it. No. You've got to let things cook. You don't put things in a crock pot and for expecting 20 minutes it's going to be done. It's not an Instapot. Yeah. It's a crock pot. You need to let this stuff cook. Amazon's developers are told, hey, we need this. Developers go, okay, give us about a year and a half. They say, you've got about an hour and a half. It's impossible to please them. Even Larry agrees. It's impossible.
Yeah, I can hear Larry. I can hear Larry chiming in, chirping
exactly.
in.
Just chirping in. And it's so bad because this game could have been something awesome. Breakaway could have been something awesome. New World has a lot of potential if they let it cook. They gotta let it cook.
See, I'm concerned.
Amazon's not doing that.
I'm concerned about New World only in the respect of, in my mind, Jason, Breakaway failed due to lack of a consistent singular direction. Crucible failed due to a lack of a focus in a singular direction. New World has already displayed
Mhm.
numerous problems in having a singular direction. Are we going to do PvP? No, we're not going to. Yeah, we will, but then we'll put it here and then we'll do this. Oh, you didn't like that. Okay, we'll take it out and then we'll do that. They've already displayed a bit of a lack. Now, I did play in the last pre-order thing that they had a few months ago. I wasn't overly thrilled with the game, but I wasn't hypercritical about the game either. I'm still going to wait on that one. It really didn't do much for me, but it didn't immediately turn me off. I think there's a lot of eggs in that basket to some points that you made in an editorial you wrote that, hey, despite what John Smedley may be doing, despite your partnership with Athlon for the Lord of the Rings MMO, despite you publishing Lost Ark, New World is going to be the final straw for Amazon games, in your opinion?
Yeah. They really need to figure out what they're doing and figure out who actually needs to be making the decisions there. And it's not necessarily going to be just, like you said, the guys who are bringing in the money or making the money, I guess, spending the money, having the biggest salaries, because that's just what it looks like to me from the outside. Having been in companies that are kind of the same, where they have some ideas and they're clearly not good ideas that everyone can point out, but because someone in that company decided it was, someone probably with a big salary and a big title, they get pushed through anyway. And that's how it is because they know better or whatever. And they're gonna have to figure out how to structure things properly so that sort of thing doesn't get done again. It doesn't get repeated for New World. The same mistakes get made over and over again. Maybe bringing over some of the people from Crucible will help. Maybe they'll have fresh ideas that will actually get listened to. Who knows? But you're right. It is a little. It's iffy. I think New World has about a 50-50 chance of survival at this point.
And you said the same thing in your editorial, which guys go read over at mmobomb.com. It's a great piece about Amazon's basic last chance here with New World. You said similar things to what Wilfredo was just saying, where they came in and said, we got a ton of money. This will be fine. We can absolutely break into this industry, no problem, because we have enough money to do it. I did an MMO Thoughts episode a few weeks back on can Crucibles be saved and talked about some of the directions that they were going into. You can check that out on YouTube or on mmobomb.com. And my final opinion boiled down to it's going to be all up to if Amazon wants to throw more money at it. There's no reason that it couldn't, but it's going to come down to, does Amazon want to throw more money at it, or is there a cutoff point for them? And apparently, Wilfredo, there was a cutoff point for them.
Oh, yeah. That's one of Amazon's biggest things. It's like, how can we keep it cheap?
Yeah.
They're losing money. I mean, it's hard for them to lose money when they're almost $1 trillion company. But, they're still losing money.
We'll see. New World on the docket. We're going to talk about that in the question of the week. When we get to that. And by the way, here, I got some friends for...
Larry! All right, Larry, we get it. Butternut squash, shut up.
I totally forgot I had that sound effect on my keyboard. I would have used it earlier. Except I would have told Jason, don't have any reaction when I play this. Let's just have him hear it in his headsets and wonder what the hell is going on.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
All right. Now, those are some things that are doing not so well. Let's talk about some things that are doing well and one that people are kind of pumped for. And maybe we have some information on that. So first up, Genshin Impact doing incredibly well. Incredibly well. And I don't think any of us expected it to not do well. But at the same time, I don't think any of us expected it to do as well as it's doing. By estimates that are publicly available, these may not be exact, they have made back their estimated $100 million development cost in 2 weeks, Jason. That's a lot of gacha pools.
That was my line exactly. I was going to say, wow, that's a lot of gacha pools. But yeah, it's... yeah, I mean, they're making it somehow, and that's probably how. And is that good or not?
Now, to be fair, there are other items you can buy in that game, Wilfredo, but they're the pools. The pools are what's raking in the money.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I was just talking to a coworker. He was like, yeah, I'm going to go to my car during break, and I'm just going to buy a whole bunch of Primo Gems, and I'm just going to see how many pools I can get. I was like, you're exactly the person I was talking about.
Yep.
That's what he does, and I don't blame him. And did anybody expect Genshin Impact to not make money? Come on, like the game it's built to make money.
It is
literally.
it is a money machine, and we've seen YouTube video and stream after stream after stream of I spent $600 so you didn't have to. I spent X $1,000 so you didn't have to. Let's try to pool and oh no, like even if MMO Bomb was like, Mike, what do you need? $1,000 to make a cool video about it? I'd be like, dude, I don't want to spend your $1,000 that way. I really don't want to spend it that way.
Jason doesn't need to get paid this month. You're taking all his salary and spend it on Genshin Impact Gotcha.
So you're not going to see any of those types of videos from MMO Bomb, but they are out there if you're interested. Just people spending hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars on these pools. Now, as far as actual game updates, they did reveal some details about the next 3 updates. You've got 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. Now, a lot of players have blown through the main storyline that's available in the game and the 2 areas, Leyou Harbor and Mondstadt, that are available in the game now. Post that, it's a lot of grinding, like doing the Abyss and all that stuff just to keep upping your adventure rank. And so there's a lot of grinding going on. Players can't wait for the new areas. And I'll tell you what, you don't have to wait long because version 1.1 is coming on November 11th. But oh wait, the update you care about. Sadly, version 1.1 releasing on November 11th is going to bring something called the Unreturned Star Off event. Translations of that name, again, we have to deal with translations in this case, are a little differing on exactly what that title is. And it's not adding new areas or new main story. Now, Jason, that's probably a good thing. Although it sucks if you're a Genshin Impact player, if you're the developer and publisher, if you're MiHoYo, do you really want your big first update of content to be coming out right in between the Xbox launch, the PlayStation 5 launch, Cyberpunk, Call of Duty, all of these titles in that 8-day period there? Maybe this makes a little bit of sense, even if it's not the best for players who, at this moment on October 16th, are grinding and having not much to do besides grinding. Now knowing they have to wait another month for an update, that really just adds kind of an event and some co-op stuff into the game.
I mean, if you're that into it, I guess you are going to take a break anyway to do the other stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. If it was me, because I'm not in the Genshin Impact, I'm not, and even if I was, I wouldn't have jetted up to the max level. I'll probably just sit. If I ever get into the game, I'm just going to sit and look at the pretty landscape or whatever all the time. I get to the max level in 3 years or whatever it'll take, but. Yeah, I don't know that I'd be that upset about it, even if I was playing, because, like you said, there's so much other stuff to do at that point anyway.
Right, but that's still a month away. That is still a month away. And, you may be... There's a lot of people that are done with the story stuff and have just been grinding. And I'm not talking about just, people like Mr. Happy, right, who streamed it for tens and tens of hours within the first few days and got there. Even we, who I was moving at a pretty quick pace when I was streaming it to catch up to where I was in the closed beta stuff, I was probably 2 to 3 streams away from having the main story stuff down. We were in Leyou Harbor and working with the Geo stuff already. We would have had a lot of grinding to do, yes, but we weren't all that far off either. So I don't think it's just the casuals here, Wilfredo, that are reaching that point or are already at that point where it's, okay, so I'm going to log in, I'm going to do my commissions, maybe I'm going to go do some abysses for a little while, but that's really all I'm doing, and the next update's a month away, and by the way, that really doesn't have too much new as far as the world or story to go. I think it's a little disappointing, because the following update is the one they're really waiting for, 1.2. That's the one that's going to add Dragon Spine Snow Mountain. But that doesn't drop until, here's another great drop date, right? December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas.
Merry Christmas? That's the only thing I can think of. They're probably saying, okay, we'll put out this first update and that'll buy us some time. because maybe there are some QA things they have to do before they release the next update. But this also, if you think about it, this is a Chinese developer. Maybe what they're trying to do is to get you to get off the game long enough for you to want to come back and play it again, knowing that you're going to have these updates coming up, November 11th, December 23rd. It gives you a little bit of breathing room instead of just being completely and utterly obsessed with the game. Might be a smart tactic. Might be absolutely abysmal. We have to wait and see how it actually goes down come November 11th.
Certainly gives you time to spend some money on those pools, Jason. Get those 5 stars. Get those 5 stars.
Look, first of all, people are shocked that an MMO came out and people have jetted through the content and don't have anything to do for a while.
See, but that's my point, is that it's not just the jetters that are getting to that.
Like, you're playing this every day for like 4 hours on stream.
Yeah, for 3 or 4 streams, and I only played it on stream. That was it.
Okay.
I did not play it outside of stream. I wanted everything that I was doing to be streamed to the viewers. So I didn't play it outside of that at all. So yes, to your point, 3 or 4 hours on 3 or 4 different streams, that's 10 to 12 hours. And we were probably 10 hours away from, at a reasonable clip, 10 hours away from being done with the main story that's available. Yes, we still would have had a lot of side stuff to do, but that only lasts so long too.
Well, as for the update dropping on 2 days before Christmas, who cares? Nobody's traveling this holiday season anyway.
Yeah, good point.
Nobody's spending time with their family anyway.
The Elemental Crucible event, which is a co-op event, is live now. That went live this Monday. So if you're looking for something a little more fun to do with co-op, grinding out some stuff, resin is a problem in this game, and I think it's one that's getting overlooked right now. But I think a lot of players are realizing that, resin is a problem. But it made $100 million back in 2 weeks, so who cares? On the same kind of front, the anime-ish MMO RPG, or in Genshin's Impact case, an RPG, Bandai Namco appears to be hiring for English localization directors for Blue Protocol. Now, we already knew that this was going to come out in a global release in some fashion. After initially they said it wasn't, we had reasons to believe that it was going to be available in English. This kind of just adds some more confirmation icing to stuff we already knew / were teased / suspected, Jason.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yes, you're right. That kind of sums it up. They're hiring for an English localization director who will be supervising the localization of the game based on each region. So there you go. It also pays 6 to 8 million yen, so around $60,000 to $70,000. But if you're going to live and work in Tokyo, that might not get you by so well.
Now, there's other things that are kind of hinted at, Wilfredo, in this actual job posting that I think are worth mentioning. It does state that it's going to be launching in Japan first and then global releases following after that. It doesn't give a date. It just kind of vaguely says within the next year and onwards. So could we see the Japanese release sometime in 2021? Probably. But again, even that, they'll just say, well, we said and onwards. So if we're a little late, we're a little late. They also alluded to not just PC, but potentially other platforms in this job post in the future. Again, none of this, I would never use the word confirms for any of this because it is vaguely worded, but it does allude to some things that people were wondering about. Release date, will it be on consoles, stuff like that. So answers without being answers, I guess, would be the best way to say it.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of something. It was just on television not too long ago. It was on a Tuesday night. I can't remember. But it was very vague to answer any questions if they answered any at all. Can't remember what it was, though. Anywho, here's the thing. I think it's pretty cool that they're putting out this job posting. But I stayed in Japan for a year, and it is not cheap. And on that kind of salary, you are living in... Your bedroom is also your bathroom and your kitchen. Essentially.
And Jason makes the point in his article on this that Tokyo is, in fact, the 24th most expensive city to live in, according to Numbeo.com.
That would probably be accurate. I can tell you, when I was there, I was in a place, it's one of the districts known as Ginza, and that's got much more of a Western or Americanized feel to it. Any one of the other 13 districts are going to be if not as expensive, more expensive to live in because it's a hustle and bustle. Shibuya City alone is probably the most expensive place to live in Tokyo. It's ridiculous. So if you're working out of Tokyo, especially if you're doing English localization and you move to Japan, you already got to invest $10,000 alone just to get over there, get your paperwork done, so on and so forth. Then you're probably going to have to get a place outside of Tokyo, come into Tokyo to work, and then get back out of Tokyo. And driving there is a pain. You're better off on mass transit. That's going to cost you money every day. It's tough. So whoever gets that job, kudos to you. You're doing good work. I'm sorry for the stress.
Yeah, but you don't actually need an apartment. You're just going to be working 14 hours a day and sleep under your desk, right?
Right.
I mean, that's a thing if you want to do that. Sure. I've heard stories. I've seen the results. It's terrible.
There is a closed beta getting ready to happen. Now, this is not like an actual closed beta. I debated writing this up as its own story, but it just doesn't make sense to. It's a 3-hour beta, for crying out loud. You can sign up now between today and, already up until October 26th, and it's going to run for 3 hours on November 7th. This is more of a stress test for some of their matchmaking systems and things like that. They're going to give you a pre-made level 25 character. The reason that I didn't think, made sense to make it its own story, look, Genshin or Blue Protocol beta signups. One, you have to be in Japan or you have to be willing to jump through the hoops to make it look like you're in Japan to do. And then 2, it's for 3 hours. It's a stress test. So hopefully more to come on Blue Protocol. This is one that I am looking eagerly forward to, but I'm not super hyped about yet, Wilfredo, simply because we just don't have a ton of information besides some pretty visuals and some examples of previous beta gameplay from people in Japan or who were willing to jump through those localization hoops to make it look like they were in Japan. So one I'm looking forward to, though. How about you?
Yeah, no, it looks pretty, but I've been fooled before. There are plenty of games that look pretty, but you can polish a turd, it's still a turd. I'm looking at Bless Online, and I was a devout backer before that game came out saying it was going to be great. Me and Troy went at it. And
Wow.
boy, was I wrong, and I own that. But man, you polish a turd, it's still a turd. So until there's more to talk about, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut for right now.
Jason, is this one you're looking forward to at all?
Well, Fred, I didn't know you had that deep dark secret like that in your past.
I know.
Have you sufficiently like undone your shame, like flogged yourself or something like that to cleanse yourself?
I've given myself a beating or two.
Okay, good. No, I mean, as much as I'm looking forward to it about as much as I look forward to Genshin Impact, which was like, it looks kind of pretty. Maybe I'll look at it, but I'm not like super. Oh my god, it's an MMORPG. I have to try it. Yeah, that's no, not so much.
All right, let's take a real quick look at some WTF moments in free-to-play this week. Apparently, data miners uncovered new areas in Rift, of all things. Now, it's not really a whole new area. It's like a portion of an existing area. Credit to Massively OP on this one, because I wouldn't have found this without them there. Even in the stuff that I look at every single day, I probably wouldn't have come across this. But they shared, this is in the Plain Touch Wilds. There's like a Rock of the Sky area floating around in the southwestern portion of the zone that you can teleport up to via portals. They give some pictures. I don't know. They also like data mined all kinds of new synergy crystals, new cape textures, new gear, stuff like that. Could we actually be seeing a Rift update that isn't just a recycled event, Jason?
I kind of forgot Rift was a thing. It's been so long since we've written about it. I'd actually forgotten that there still is something there. So if you're right and they don't ever actually do real content, then yeah, I'm just looking at our old articles. It's Hellbug's return, get mech mounts, budgie mount, a critter gets supersized. Yeah, this is really shitty news.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
For a
them
game
to actually
that
have new
used to be
content.
very dear to my heart.
Yeah, dear to a lot of people. So I played a good bit of it myself. I was level 50. I did a couple raids here and there, but those were back in the elder days.
Wilfredo, should Rift players get their hopes up here?
No. No, absolutely not.
No.
And the only reason why I say this is because First off, I totally forgot that Rift was a thing too. But the other thing is, no one really cares. I mean, the game is a grind at this point. Glyph sucks. No one wants an extra downloader. And it's been how long since we've heard any kind of real update? I don't think anybody cares.
Yeah.
One person cared. One person left a comment. Who was that? Zarden. Says, yes, finally another update to the game coming. So Zarden cares.
Yeah, and we don't even know if it's actually coming. It's data mined, so take it with that whole, data mining grain of salt to begin with. That type of deal.
It's probably in their map for their battle royale, which they probably are going to put in or something.
Although, sticking with Gamigo and former Tryon products, it looks like maybe Atlas Reactor will be returning, Jason?
And what was the question? What did we say? What did I say when you told me this news in chat, in Discord?
I don't remember. What did you tell me?
Why?
Oh yeah, that's right. I linked it to him to cover, and all I said was why. This one is kind of weird to me because if you had any intentions of bringing it back, then there was really no reason to shut it down. Just let it do what Rift has done, kind of maintenance mode until you're ready to jump on and do something with it. This one just seems weird. Now, it's, again, not official, but the Twitter account has started posting things.
It's not just the Twitter account. It's the official one. But there have been like multiple Twitter accounts that are like, based on the characters, several of the characters in the game that are all like talking to each other and so on. And yes, apparently Gamigo has confirmed those are official accounts. They are maintaining them. So they're doing something with it, or at least have plans to, you think. But why?
It didn't even make the boilerplate announcement.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're talking about here are all the games that we're acquiring from Tryon. Yeah. Here's Rift. Here's Defiance. Everything else.
Atlas Reactor wasn't even there.
Mention it. And it was only like a year ago they shut it down. I mean, one thing if this was like,
right,
like 3 or 4 years later, maybe. But like you said, why not just leave it around?
Yeah, just leave it around. Say, hey, you know what? This is like low priority. We're gonna get to Rift and Defiance, and there's stuff we want to do with those titles first. We'll see you in a year or two. If you want to play, go ahead. If you don't, we understand. We'll see you then. But I mean, I guess now Wilfredo, they get to do that whole we're launching again thing, like have a second launch, which I can't stand when games do. But I guess they get to technically do that if this does move forward with the game returning.
Didn't Arcades do that? Like they're about to do it for a third time?
Yeah, they've launched like 5 times.
Yeah, all right. The first time a game launches, it's just like, cool. The second time, it's like, all right, some things, maybe it's better. You're on like 5 for Arcade. I'm not thrilled. I'm completely indifferent. I could care less. Do we really need another MOBA? Do we really need another? Maybe they changed something up. Maybe now it's Battle Royale. I don't know. Do we need another one of those? No. No one really cared.
Troy Blackburn will care. He liked this game. He liked this game quite a bit.
I tried to like it. I wanted to like it, but I don't know.
Wrapping up, we got 2 more pieces of WTF news. Dr. Disrespect gets a new skin and a map in Rogue Company. Whatever. Okay.
Good thing you put it on the news then, if that's your opinion.
Yeah, this partnership makes no sense to me. Like, given the question marks that are around the dock right now, if you're a potential advertiser, licensee, they're just why deal with the question marks? I don't get First Watch Games / High Res engaging in this partnership for Rogue Company, and it just seems weird to me. Like, this one probably should have been waited on at least until questions were put to bed in some fashion other than nobody knows.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said in our other Discord, I said, I was thinking about trying Rogue Company, and now I'm not. Even without the question mark surrounding him, he's still kind of a garbage person. But
yeah, if you're not a fan of his whole shtick and all that stuff and him in real life, then obviously this takes on a different tone. I was looking strictly from the business perspective of, if I'm running a business, I don't know if I want to partner with somebody financially where there might potentially be question marks. And maybe they were answered behind the scenes to their satisfaction. I wouldn't know that, so that caveat, of course, certainly exists. to Guardian Vale's point, maybe he's the only one they could get. I don't think so, because they also announced at the same time that Rogue Company has attracted more than 8 million players, making it the most successful launch in Hi-Res's 15-year history. Of course, that's different from concurrent players. Yes, set all that aside. 8 million is still a freaking impressive number for the amount of time that the game has technically been available as a free-to-play title, because prior to that, you had to buy a Founders Pack to get into its beta. So I'm pretty sure they had options, or could have at least pursued other options here, Wilfredo, if they really wanted to.
I think they got a hold of Eric Bischoff's book, Controversy Creates Cash.
I 100% agree that this was a controversial grab that made headlines, and that's why they did it. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's a good way to get people's attention. Hey, here's this guy who's controversial in the media right now. We're going to bring him over here and put him in our game. Why would you do that? Why don't you come over and take a look?
Because we wrote it up on a press release, and now we're talking about it on our show.
Exactly.
There it is.
Mike, you fell for it. You fell right for the end of their trap.
Yeah, and then you look stupid when you don't talk about it, though. So, like, in the press, we're screwed either way.
It's literally degrees now.
And finally, with Hi-Res 2, this one I am a little more in favor of, even though it is kind of WTF and weird. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are invading SMITE, getting turtle skins for multiple characters. Leonardo Osiris, Donatella, Sun Wukong, Raphael Loki, and Michelangelo in the Mercury hero for SMITE. Kuzembo skipped. Didn't make the cut, apparently, according to Smite's Twitter, which kind of seems weird, given that that would be a logical choice with a game about gods, but whatever. There's a Shredder and Master Splinter via Radical chests, if you want to get those, but they didn't reveal in the tweets. They may have now, by now. I just didn't get an update on it, which gods that those are actually skins for. I like this crossover. It's neat. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm okay with things not making sense when they harken back to my childhood nostalgia, and I already see Jason mocking me for this.
No, not at all. No, I like I like how, like, I know how this came into being. Like, I know exactly. I know there was some meeting or some lunch or whatever some guys at this company had, and they were like, it's really cool. We actually have a character that has like twin swords, another one with a staff. We got characters that match all the weapons of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Isn't that cool? And the guy's like, yeah, that's cool. What if we made skins for them? Yeah. Wait. What if we did?
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. I have no doubt.
Does this make you want to play Smite, Wilfredo?
Yeah, absolutely. I love what they're doing with Nickelodeon. First they get Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now they've got Turtles. Are you kidding me? I get to be Loki that looks like Raphael. Are you kidding me? I'm down.
All right, that's enough. What the fuck for today? Let's slide over to the weekly bombs. Since I alluded to mine earlier today, I guess I'll go first here. I'm going to give an A-bomb to Gameforge taking over TERA in America here. Not because I'm some huge TERA fanboy or player or anything, but I just really don't like Gameforge having a foothold in the Americas as a publisher. And, you might argue about TERA's player base size, but it is a well-known title at minimum. And, yeah, I don't like Gameforge getting a foot into the market here. So A-bomb to that. Jason?
All right. So as you know, I'm into like the sports simulation games. Like I have the out of the park game that I played a ton of, the baseball game, but got on all of those, especially due to my brother, who unfortunately passed away last year. And afterwards, his wife sent me some of his old sports games to some of the stuff that we'd played when I was a kid. So I'm rediscovering a lot of those, especially one in particular, Title Bout, which was a boxing game produced in 1980. So I'm playing a lot of that. Just got my own little spreadsheet set up where I do all the stats and the recordings and so forth and so on. I'm rediscovering all the old timey boxers that they used to have. They've got them in all sorts of different categories. See a bunch of cards here. Got a bunch of them. They have all the little stats and so forth. They got biographies on the back for a bunch of them. But in particular, the one that I'm interested in, one I found was very interesting, is that, did you know that I believe a relative of one of these old timey boxers actually hangs out in our chat?
No,
I think that's the case, because one of the guys here that I have.
No, this can't be right.
Could be. It could be, because one of the guys I have here was a featherweight boxer in the 1940s, and his name is Phil Terranova.
Terranova! I see it!
So there you go. Are you related, man? I gotta ask.
Oh my God, that's a setup. That's a setup right there.
That is, and also, as I'm thinking of it too, interesting. We've talked about Terranova earlier in this cast, because Terranova is Latin for New World. So it's like he's all over this cast.
Wilfredo.
Yeah, A-bomb to Amazon and not getting their games right. I mean, come on, man, you're 0 for 2. You're the juggernaut. You can't get this right? Come on, man. Just stop. Let somebody else do it. Leave it to the professionals.
Terranova says
Terranova
no relation.
says he's no relation.
No relation.
Oh, sure? Are you sure? Yeah, I can read his bio for you. He was
Guardian Vale says, DeBum, somebody made a retractable proto saber. It's freaking cool. Went all full on nerd when I saw it on YouTube. A-bomb to the internet for calling a proto saber a lightsaber. Get your lore right, internet. My adult mind went like a YouTuber could make a proto saber? Huh. That's not dangerous at all. I know this YouTuber is highly specialized in this kind of content, but still. I've seen that too, Guardian, with the whole backpack, the proto saber thing. That was very cool. I agree with you, though. It did seem a bit dangerous even for the team making it. Guardian has a question for the panel and for Twitch chat. Me and my friends were talking about the upcoming console release, the PS5 teardown video, the extra SSD for the Xbox, and is it overpriced? Launch games, Game Pass, the price points for the consoles, etc. And of course, what console will win the war? Eye roll. Anyway, they were going back and forth, so I, being Guardian Vale, gave my opinion that cloud gaming will catch up to current consoles and make them irrelevant before the end of their life cycle, let's say 6 to 7 years. It wasn't a popular opinion. Now, here are my 2 questions. 1, will cloud gaming catch up to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X? And will it impact the console's sales? What do you think, Jason?
I agree that it's going to be bigger, but I don't think it's going to replace or make irrelevant the current way we do things.
Wilfredo?
I think it will have a massive impact. Xbox is already talking about their cloud saving system. It's going to impact console sales, not dramatically, I don't think, but it's going to catch up very quickly.
I don't think it's going to impact console sales, because I think by the time it is a viable option in a lot of areas, the actual sales rush of the consoles will be, it'll have plateaued at that point, I don't think. Will it catch up? I don't think so. And not because I think the technology itself isn't good. I just think it is 100% contingent on infrastructure where the consoles aren't. While, yes, your internet connection can impact your performance, the consoles themselves aren't. And when you get something that is that dependent on infrastructure, I think you segregate your audience a little more than... So, yeah, I think it'll just start to do... I'm with you, Jason. I think it'll start to do better and better and better. I don't think it'll catch PS5 and Xbox, possibly next generation, assuming we have some infrastructure improvements over the next 5 to 10 years in parts of the globe, including, hell, the United States, with rural communities being total ass as far as internet goes in most cases. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a more consideration than, like, will Google or whomever get the technology right on their side. I think from that standpoint, Guardian Vale, yeah, I agree. They're closing in on being a viable competitor. Infrastructure, I think, is the thing that blocks it from being a viable competitor in the near future. Go ahead, Jason.
He says A-bomb to myself because even with the chart, I messed up.
Yeah.
I was about to check to see if I get it right, and I changed it last time. I edited my question of the week last week, and I still got it wrong. There's the chart. There you go.
Gotta give you the
good,
chart.
A-bomb bad. We need something more current than Lawbreakers. So we need to put like Crucible up there or something.
Yeah, it should be Crucible now, I guess.
And Bless also. Bless is eternal.
Yeah, Bless will live forever. Intermittent fasting is a joke that you really have to have been watching us for a while to know about intermittent fasting.
Oh, God.
Just eat, dude. Jason. Anyway, go ahead.
Regularly continues. I'm also going to give an A-bomb to respawn for the queue times on Apex. I didn't play it for a day or two as a time hog that is Genshin Impact has been a thing. I decided to check out an event going on. So I queued up for a match and looked at the new things, checked to see how matchmaking was going, and there were 20 people. Okay, middle of the day, sure, but sure, why not? I'll tab to check out Twitch, see who's on. Shroud is playing Apex, so I watch. He wins, of course, and gets to the lobby and queues up and gets the match in 2 minutes. Wait, what? Look to see if I missed my own queue pop, and nope, 40 people. It's been like 15 minutes since I queued. So I drop and requeue to get 20 people in lobby waiting. Why with the cross-platform am I still sitting in 20-ish minute queues and streamers who, to be honest, will only play when you pay them to get insta-queues? If I wanted Line Simulator for a Battle Royale, I'd play PUBG.
Zing.
Shots fired.
Go ahead, Wilfredo.
Sujet says, A-bomb to you guys not having game power link in your YouTube description. I was listening to background and went to the description to check spelling, and it wasn't there.
Yes.
Nope, that's not my fault.
That is a well-deserved A-bomb that I will take credit for, and it will be rectified on this free-to-play cast. And that segues nicely to checking out Gamer Power. If you haven't checked it out already, please do. This is a sister site of ours. It's not going to cost you a dime. There isn't even an option for a premium membership or any bullshit like that, and certainly isn't any gotcha pools. Gamerpower.com, GamerPower.com. You'll get free stuff in free-to-play games, free stuff in buy-to-play games, free games, anything you want there. And you can follow things and genres that are interesting to you. The site will even recommend things based on previous selections and keep you apprised on how much you haven't paid. So make sure you check it out. We'll
blame Larry for not having the link in the description.
Yeah, it was Larry's fault. Ninja Pandas in chat says, I'm giving a dub bomb to the Trick or Treat Urgent Quest on PSO2, even though it's from 2018. Yeah, I love that. And to Larry the Cricket. So Larry the Cricket already raking in the dub bombs.
I hate you, Larry.
Box chiming in saying, giving a dub bomb to you guys in the podcast. Been watching the podcast for several years now, I'd say for at least a good 2 to 3 years. And it's one of the things I look forward to every week. Just wish I could remember to pop into the Friday streams more often. Box, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say so. And we appreciate that. We do not take that for granted. We work very hard to earn that from you. So thank you. Question of the week last week. What can Hearthstone do to get you back? Guardian Veil chiming in here saying more interaction with other gamers in Hearthstone. I guess that's a thing, Jason, because you kind of just play against somebody and then never see them again. So maybe some more social interactions.
But I get why they do that.
I get it too. But I could also see why it would be a turnoff. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah. XL Kobayashi says, question of the week, I'll never go back to Hearthstone unless they completely redo the combat mechanics and existing cards. So basically never. Where the way mechanics are designed, it doesn't have the same depth as something like Magic the Gathering. It basically plays itself, which makes me ask, why am I even here?
Wilfredo.
Raggerty, question of the week. The only reason I ever get into Hearthstone is to play the PvE content. They added more to it, more of it. I'd play more, but as it stands, I hate PvP in that game. Everyone always takes so long to play one card. Jason.
Sorry.
It's all right. Everyone always takes so long to play one card, then do nothing till the timer runs out. It's annoying. I agree.
We also have, by the way, a new Hearthstone update being teased, not officially announced, but like a new mode and all kinds of stuff. So that's
they've announced the announcements.
Yeah, that's like what, 10 days from now, something like that?
No, Thursday.
Is it Thursday? Next Thursday?
Yeah.
Robert Stojanowski says, question of the week, I've played Hearthstone for 2 years, then I quit. It was too grindy for me. And now that I have Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Links on Android and Steam, I'm never coming back to Hearthstone. So we lost that one, gang. Stojan's out. Go ahead, Jason.
Kitsuruha, or is that the one that Wilfredo always mispronounces? Now I'm probably screwing it up.
No, it's Kitsuruha.
Kitsuruha? Okay. Question, what do you think? I think I'm good on CCGs at this point. Even after I stopped playing Hearthstone, I came back a couple of times to grind out special unlocks. And it was way more of a grind than it should have been because I had just starter cards. The bomb for Genshin Impact being fun, but A-bomb for also making certain situations very hard if you prefer certain heroes. Also, flying missions not being very flying and on rails when you're always getting hit.
Yep. Jason Chat giving a dub bomb to Warframe. Jason's new addiction. Loving it so far. You are not alone, my friend. Not on that one. Oceanic. It sounds like a weird suggestion, but if Hearthstone had some animated content tie-in, such as an animated series, a mini-series, that would make me more interested in the CCG. In most of the TCG, CCG games I've ever gotten involved in, it was born from having first been a fan of a cartoon or series based off of said game. I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, you got the whole Digimon, the Yu-Gi-Oh, that type of Dragon Ball Z, that type of tie-in feel to the TCG. I don't know, like if they could just do that now and it would pull anybody in, but I could see why somebody might want that, Jason.
That's what all the CCGs had in the 90s or whatever, some sort of tie into something, whether it was a cartoon or another TV show or something like that. Of course, this technically ties into World of Warcraft, so it's a spin-off of that, so it's not a completely original thing of its own, but I mean, that's how it works. You get people to get into some property because it's like some other property they're used to. So, Marco Z says, "You guys whining about crossplay while Blue and Steel in the other cross progression between regions for Heart of the Storm, Heroes of the Storm, and Hearthstone." Well, I don't go between regions.
Speaking of Heart of the Swarm, though, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
StarCraft 2 maintenance mode.
Mm-hmm.
Just announced today. Finish it up, Wilfredo.
Sure. Box. Just remove 70-80% of the RNG involved with some of the dumber mechanics they've added over the years with all the expansions. It's already annoying by the second expansion, but now playing it just feels like you're basically throwing a 10d20 every turn. No thanks. I can tell you, throwing 10d20 sucks.
I can tell you too. I actually have decks that are meant to be nothing but RNG, just to piss people off.
You're an evil person. Evil person, Jason. All right, question of the week this week. Should Amazon maybe now consider making New World free to play, given that they're asking for box fees from a company that's 0 for 2 in some big ways out of the gate with some of the titles? Should they maybe consider making it free to play? Why or why not? Let us know in the comments below. While you're there, don't forget your weekly bombs. Dub bomb for something good, A bomb for something bad in the world of gaming or just life in general. And if you have questions or comments for the panel, throw those down there too, and we'll be sure to put them on next week's show. Until then, Wilfredo, where can everybody find you, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter at DamianXMarius.
Jason.
On Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there at magicman1 on Twitter, but more importantly, follow at MMOBomb so you can get all the tweets about the latest articles, giveaways, first look videos, free-to-play cast, MMO thoughts, and so much more. Until next time, gang, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.